Jason Aaron's latest outing on the Punisher finally comes to a merciful end with issue 12, and oh boy, is it a doozy. So if you're not caught up with the Punisher, I've only read issue 12 because this series from the get-go looked horrible, and I read issue 12 and it was horrible. So if you're not caught up with Punisher, essentially what happened is Punisher just sold his soul to the Hand so that way his wife would come back. So now he's the hand of the Beast. So he's got supernatural powers. He prays to the Beast and he does the Hand's bidding, all because they revived his wife Maria. Now, if you've been reading Punisher for a while, you may be thinking, this plot point sounds familiar. A villain brings back or tries to bring back Punisher's dead family to mess with him and control him potentially. This sounds familiar. Well, that's because, yeah, it already happened. In Rick Remender's run, the Hood and Microchip tried to bring back Frank's family. They had a whole ritual set up and everything. They had his wife and dead kids, their caskets, in this area to do this ritual. Maria is even coming back to life. Like, they do the ritual, they're coming back, and she reaches out her hand, and he sees her wedding band right before she actually comes out of the casket, and he locks eyes with her and has just this look of disgust. And you know what he does? He turns to Firebrand, puts a gun to his head, and tells him to torch him. And the Firebrand even hesitates. He goes, What? That's your family. And Frank says, that's not my family. My family's dead. Do it. And he lights them all on fire. And they all just get lit up. So his family that already dies again in front of him. And it's because of Frank. Because he knows it's not right to bring them back. He knows this is not right. And this is against what he believes. Like, bringing back his dead family is not right. Just because, of course, he would want them back. Of course he wants his dead family back, but he knows that's not right. That's the most selfish thing he could possibly do, is to bring his dead family back into the world just because he misses them. Of course he knows that's not the right thing to do. So he tells him to torch him. But that's coming from Rick Remender, a talented writer that understands the character. This most recent run is from Jason Aaron. Jason Aaron, who doesn't understand what Frank's war is. He thinks Frank's war was all just, I'm going to keep fighting until I find a way to bring my dead family back. That seems to be the message I got from this comic, was that's what Jason Aaron believes Frank's war was about, was just keep fighting until I can somehow bring my dead family back. But that's not what it's about. And they do a really dumb, we're on YouTube, can't say the word, a very dumb retcon, where it turns out the day they went to the park when Frank's family got shot up, his wife Maria was going to divorce him. What? How very convenient that it was the day that they got shot, not the day before, not a week before, not a month before, but the day. Really stupid retcon, but that's what you get when you get modern day Jason Aaron. I'll be honest, back like 10-12 years ago, I liked some of Jason Aaron stuff. I have enjoyed some Jason Aaron comics. Modern day, he sucks. He is horrible. I've tried to read some modern day Jason Aaron comics. They're bad. It seems like Thor was the tipping point. It seems like Thor was when he had some good Thor stuff, he had some bad Thor stuff, and ever since then, that was when he just decided, like a flip switch, is like, I'm gonna write bad comics from now on. His Avengers run is atrocious, and this Punisher run doesn't seem to be any better. So let's cover the events of issue 12 of Jason Aaron's Punisher. So leading up to this, apparently some Avengers have been going after Frank, saying that, he's crossed the line again and that he needs to be brought in. And so they have been closing in on the Hand compound to try to bring him in. But before they could get him, his wife Maria shot him with some mystic bullets from a magic gun. And so he's just bleeding out in a pool because Maria left him. And then there's stuff with the High Priestess, that's whatever. Frank ends up using the last of his beast powers, from his Mr. Beast powers, to take out the High Priestess. The Avengers come, and they're like, we got you, Frank. And so they take Frank in, and then they take him to the Sanctum. Doctor Strange imprisons him, and Doctor Strange is just like, hey, man, we don't know what to do with you. We're going to take a vote and try to figure it out. Also, here's the magic bullets that Maria shot you with. She shot you with some magic stuff. Also, Maria, what was used to bring her back, just was really bad and not good stuff. It wasn't, right that she was brought back. It was, I think he said something like it's against the laws of, nature and heaven and God and heaven and everything. So he's just saying, basically, bad juju. After all that, Doctor Strange leaves the room, and then one by one, some members of the Avengers come in and talk to him. Wolverine talks to him, Natasha, Black Widow talks to him, and Moon Knight talks to him until his wife Maria shows up. And she's like, I gotta tell you something. She's like, I wanna finish what I tried to start that day in the park. I want a divorce. And she's like, I'm dead, so I technically can get a divorce. I don't need you to, sign off on anything. And she's like, also, Natasha helped me sell all your houses, your safe houses, and your assets and everything. And I'm taking half of all the money, and I've gotten duffel bags, so I'm going to be set. And I donated your half of the money to charities in the name of our dead kids. She's like, because that's how you honor them, not by using them as an excuse for slaughter. Because that's why she shot him when she came back, because she was all upset that he killed a bunch of criminals while she was dead. She was very upset that he did that, and that's why she decided to then try to kill her husband. So, an eye for an eye. Is Maria likes that philosophy. She's like, you don't, I'm gonna kill you for you killing people. It's just very, very funny when you think about it. But she has her girl boss moment with Frank, while Frank's like, Maria, please, Maria, and she's just like, no, Frank, I never loved you. And then she tells him that she has this line where she's like, no, you had your time to speak while I was dead, and you said plenty. Now it's my time. When he tries to talk to her, she said, all these years you let yourself believe the lie that you lost your family to bullets, that they were taken from you by a world run amok. But I'm here to remind you of the truth. You'd already lost them before those shots were ever fired. You lost them all on your own. It says, goodbye, Frank. One of us has a life to live now, one that's been a long time coming. As for you, when you disappear down whatever abyss they're about to hurl you into, do us all a favor and stay dead. What? Does Jason Aaron hate Punisher? Because this sounds like what you'd do if you absolutely hated Punisher. Revive his dead wife, have her then just eviscerate Frank, divorce him, take half his stuff, well, take all his stuff because she took the other part, donate it, and then tell him that she didn't actually love him and she wanted to divorce him, and if it weren't for, the mob actually saved him for a lot of emotional pain, on top of everything that already happened, because if they didn't kill his family, his wife was going to leave him and take the kids and talk about how much she hated him, and yeah, so this just really sounds like Jason Aaron hates Frank Castle, and after that, Frank is understandably upset. He takes the magic bullets that he was shot with earlier that Strange gave him, and then he prays to the Beast. Because, yes, that's a very Frank Castle thing to do, just praying to the Beast. He does that. He gets his magic powers, and then the Avengers pull him out, and they're like, okay, we voted. This is what we're going to do. And he's like, I don't really care what you vote to do. And then he disappears into, a red mist. And Doctor Strange is like, he's no longer on this earthly plane of existence. And Wolverine's like, what do you mean? And Doctor Strange goes, I mean, the Punisher is no more. And then we see that the Punisher is in this place called Weird World, and he's helping kids, and he has, orphans, and he has a battle axe. So that's what he's doing next, apparently. And we also see that Maria is driving off with all her money she stole from her husband, and she's also pregnant. So that's what's set up for the Punisher. And then Jason Aaron has a little thing talking about how he's been so happy with the Punisher, but also he doesn't agree with all the fans of the Punisher. And yeah, and that he's meant to, do this for a while. But anyways, let's talk about this. How did we get here? What is going on? Okay, how we got here is you had some cops and rednecks that put the Punisher logo on their trucks and guns and stuff, and Marvel shit their pants when that happened. They're like, oh no, what do we do? People we don't like are using the Punisher logo. That's bad. Instead of just being like anyone else and be like, well, we're not associated with them. None of that's official. That's just people doing whatever that doesn't have anything to do with us. They lost their minds. They decided, we're gonna have the Punisher use guns less, and we're gonna change his symbol, and so they did this. That part where there's a part in this comic where Doctor Strange says, what the hell are we supposed to do with you? And while he's looking straight at Frank Castle, and that is exactly, that's Marvel editorial talking about Punisher. What the hell are supposed to do with you? They don't know. They have a character that's popular that people like, but they're scared to death of him because some unsavory types that they don't like use his symbol. And they get traction on Twitter. And so that's why they're freaking out. Also, I forgot to mention the end, when he's in Weird World, the kids ask him, what's your name? And he's like, Frank, call me Frank, because he's dropping the Punisher moniker. So he no longer uses guns. He's using a battle axe. He's no longer on Earth. He's in Weird World. He no longer has this classic Punisher skull. He's got this really dumb looking beast skull thing. He doesn't go by the Punisher. He's Frank Castle. This is horrible. This just completely ruins the Punisher. Now, that being said, like with any comic, no matter how much they ruin a character, the next run can just completely be like, all that stuff was in a dream. Here's the new run. Like, you can retcon it a million different ways. Wally West was screwed every way to Sunday, and he's great now. Wally West is fixed. When if you would have told someone after Heroes in Crisis that, hey, Wally, just take a few years and then they're going to retcon some stuff and Wally's good now, they probably wouldn't believe you. So remember, things can always be fixed. But right now, Punisher's in a horrible spot. This sucks. He's one of my favorite characters. I really hate what was done with him. Man, this is sad. It's also it's funny because, again, like I said earlier, this whole like, oh, this is so unique, bringing his wife back and Frank blah blah blah. It's like we already had that and we saw how Punisher reacts to that. It's like when Bendis did Superman Truth. It's like we literally just had that a few years prior with the New 52 when or DCU when they did Superman Truth. And it was called Superman Truth as well when he revealed his identity. It's like we've done this before. Same thing here. It's like, oh man, what if they revived his head? We did that before. We saw that. Rick Remender did it. They tried to res his family, and Punisher lit the place on fire and was like, no, you're not bringing my family back. That's not right. We know how Frank reacts to this. Frank wouldn't be like, sell his soul to the hand and be like, yes, I'll do whatever you want. Just bring my wife back. That's not his goal. That's not what he's trying to do. That's not who Frank is. That is completely against his character. But that's as acting as if Jason Aaron knows anything about Punisher. His Punisher Max run back in the day sucked ass, and that was before he was a horrible writer. And now all he does is write bad comics. So yeah, this was horrible, atrocious to the character. Marvel should be ashamed that they let this get printed. If you're looking for a good Punisher that's like a little different than what you're typically used to, I'd say check out the Marvel Now run from Nathan Edmondson. It's really good. It brings Punisher to the West Coast. He's in California. It's really cool. He fights Electro. It's really good. And it's not talked about enough. I've talked about it a good bit on my channel, but when people talk about Punisher recommendations, I hardly ever hear that brought up. So if you're looking for some good Punisher, check out Marvel Now. It went for like 3 volumes, and it's a good time. But that's it for my Punisher rant. I want to hear from you guys in the comments below. What do you think about this? What are your thoughts on what Jason Aaron just did to the Punisher? Or, sorry, Frank Castle, because he's no longer the Punisher. He's Frank, and he uses a battle axe. Anyways, hope you guys enjoyed the video, and I'll see y'all later.
Hey, skinny boy, saucy boy, I be running to the bank. Yeah, you know I hit the gas in the whip full tank. Riding past the ocean while I'm listening to Frank.